Both done it all throughout your careers. What was it about fall and these characters that attracted you to this project? Grace, do you want to kick us off?
Oh my gosh, the physicality of it got me really excited when I was reading through the script and imagining actually how much was going to be involved and how much was going to be required of me emotionally, physically. I all I wanted to do was talk to Scott, our director, and hear, are we going to do this practically, or am I going to be in a sound stage and he wanted to do it practically, which only made me want to do it more, because that's the dream as an actor, to just be so challenged, but also in the immersive experience.
I would say the same. I think for me, once I found out that we were going to be shooting this thing practically in the world of so many green screen and CGI elements in film, the challenge of doing, is the most physically challenging project I've ever been a part of, and emotionally challenging as well, because you really had to get past your own fears. We were shooting 100 feet up, and so there was so much mental blocks to get past. And I was really excited by the challenge. And also, reading the script, my palms were sweating and I was terrified. And so I kept thinking, if I'm having this kind of physical reaction now, what's going to happen when people see this thing? It's going to be exciting, and it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect segue to his next question. But there's so many twists and turns within this film. What was both of your initial reactions when you read that first scene and also the twist that happens later on in the film?
Are we allowed to say anything? Spoilers. I mean, the script itself really had me on the edge of my seat, and really, I think the betrayal element in there was really compelling to me, to play with the dynamic of a relationship that has so much trust, and then to experience not loss once but loss twice by encountering that betrayal and having what you thought was true turn out not to be true, and your brain just kind of get flipped. I don't know. I thought that was a really, really exciting thing to play with as an actor.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think for me as well, it was fun to kind of create this larger than life, thrill seeking, YouTuber kind of persona. And, in some ways it is a commentary on social media in a small way as well. And it was very fun to create this character that had, developed this big persona for her following and her Instagram and her life. And then they get up there and it's just the two of them, and there's no fans, there's nothing to hide behind. It's just her and her friend in survival. And then to take a character from this big personality to strip down to just having to be herself for the first time in a long time was a really fun arc to have and explore.
Grace, your character is dealing with so much grief in her life, and you handle that with so much nuance. As an actor, how did you create the space for yourself to dive into that arc?
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you. I think so much of it was talking to Scott and trying to be mindful and protect Becky, and how I played her, because she is in such a self-doubt place, which can be so annoying to witness sometimes with people, as all they constantly say is, I can't do this. It can be a little like, we didn't want Becky to come off annoying. We were really trying to have her be sympathetic and share the truth and her vulnerability. But I just really felt sad for Becky. I just had a lot of empathy and sadness for her, and felt that. And she's been through a lot. It's horrific. So
Yeah.
bad.
Jenny, like you were saying, your character is this YouTube personality, social media influencer who has to be larger than life. And you do such a fantastic job keeping her grounded. How challenging was it to find that balance? What was that process like?
I wanted to find the balance of not making her so big and for lack of a better word, obnoxious, that you lose people from the beginning. She had to be forgivable a bit. You know what I mean? She couldn't be so big. And so, yeah, there was a very fine line to walk of keeping her grounded and still liking likable and you're still rooting for them. And also there is an element of betrayal. And so I think it was important that Grace and I had such strong chemistry, and you bought the two of us as friends, that in some way you still rooted for the two of them together, and you still rooted for their friendship and didn't lose that completely.
I remember Scott and I talking about him casting and like finding his Hunter. And he and I had read with some other actresses, and he and I were both talking about how Ginny found such a beautiful line of being that larger than life personality, but not coming off in genuine, because a lot of the time when you're going for that larger than life personality, it can, when the actor would shift into the more genuine scenes, it didn't feel right. It felt insincere. But she did that, which
Great. Thank you. Thanks.
And there's such a great chemistry and friendship that comes off the screen between the two of you. How were you able to build that bond while filming during a pandemic?
it was organic. I mean, we were in it together, sweating, just like in Victorville, tiny, teeny, tiny town, eating mac and cheese together after a long day of being on a tower, crying.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a choice. We were 100 feet off the ground. The platform was as small as it looks. It's, this big, and it was the two of us stuck up there for 12 hours a day for several weeks. And so, fortunately, Grace is lovely, and we got along so well, and we had that chemistry, because I couldn't imagine us having been stuck up there. I can't imagine having been with anybody else. I mean, it was just, we had to get along, and we had to have each other's backs, and we did, and we protected each other.
Yeah, it was such a big part of, I think, us also being game for stunts and building upon each stunt that we did, because there was this like safety blanket also of having each other and kind of looking to each other. And I remember having moments with Ginny where we would just kind of be like, "You good?" and be like, "Yeah," and we push through, or it was like, "We're gonna take it. Can we get a break? We're gonna go to the bathroom, and we need we just need to go to the bathroom and have a little break." Okay.
Yeah.
I've got one final question for the both of you. Scott and Jonathan set out to make this ultimate fear of heights movie, which they've undoubtedly done. What was your relationship with heights before this film, and did it change as a result of being a part of this project?
I mean, I'd say for me, I had no fear of heights before this film. I understood people that did, but it never bugged me. And after having been dropped off of a 100-foot tower several times and knowing how it feels to actually fall and have that experience, I do absolutely have a fear of heights now. So I never had one before filming, but post filming, I'm like, I don't think I can be up that high ever again. I'm good.
You did your time. You're done.
I did my time. I'm good.
I don't have a massive fear of heights. My experience more so with heights was from like bouldering, like in climbing gyms. And I knew that when I get up high and my arms were tired, because you have to depend on your arms with bouldering, you're not harnessed in, my palms would start sweating. So I'm like, I'm pretty high up here. My arms are getting tired. My hands are just going to go like this, and I'm going to fall. So I knew that about myself. But the biggest thing when we were shooting was shooting was trusting the harnesses and the wires, and just like understanding how all the stunts worked and the mechanics behind it helped me with the height element for sure. And just trusting the professionals we were surrounded with was really big.